Good morning, everyone. So yes, we are Genesis, and we are your trusted advisor on the journey to a sustainable future. The topic of today's presentation is achieving value from sustainable energy developments. And I'm going to give a bit of an overview of who Genesis are, what we do, and then some of the tools that digital tools that we've been innovating in the sustainable energy space. Quick bio. So myself, I'm a chemical engineer by background, and I've been in the oil and gas and energy industry for 16 years, covering study management, engineering management, and strategic advisory. And my specialism the last couple of years has been power to X and CCUS, so carbon capture, utilization and storage, and sustainable energy strategies as well. So just very quickly then, so for Genesis, we are a market-leading advisory service. We cover a range of sectors in energy. So we cover the upstream, downstream, renewables and power to X, and also low carbon sectors of the energy industry. So for renewables, that would be power to X, green hydrogen, green ammonia, offshore wind. And for low carbon, that covers carbon capture, utilization and storage, blue hydrogen and blue ammonia. And our services come across all kind of phases of the project life cycle. So we do early advisory solutions, development solutions, and asset lifecycle solutions. So that covers what we should do, how we should do it, and how we should optimize it. So today I'm from the early advisory solutions group. And we cover kind of asset strategy, market analysis, management consulting in that space. We have a global presence, and we're a trusted advisor to clients in all regions with offices in more than 15 locations. We have a global workforce of 800 people, and the other important thing to note is we are wholly owned by Technip Energies. So we're a wholly owned subsidiary, but we are an agnostic consulting service. And the last couple of years, we've been in one of the UK's leading management consultancies in the energy space. So Genesis Early Advisory Solutions, who I'm representing today, our unique selling point is we combine world-leading engineering and leveraging our Technip Energies relationship to deliver value-driven strategic approach to business consulting. Okay, so onto the meat of the presentation. This here is just a kind of a schematic of what the sustainable energy investment landscape is. So it's a complex, dynamic landscape, and there's many different pathways to get to where we need to be. So what you're seeing here is just a bit of jargon just to clarify what power to X is. So the power being renewable power, and the X being various chemicals. So we're talking about ammonia and carbon-based products, such as methanol, e-fuels, methane. So this gets us to the point where we're delivering sustainable, renewable, dispatchable power and chemicals in a circular carbon economy. So the key chemical here is hydrogen. So if we can produce green hydrogen, we can get many different places to produce many other different products. And again, just to clarify on the CCUS, so this covers capturing the carbon and also combining it with green hydrogen to give us sustainable carbon-based molecule products. So the key question for our clients is, this is a lot of different technologies, so where is the value and which is the right path to follow? And just a quick slide here on the Genesis's track record over the last 2 years. So we've done 24 green power to X studies completed, 27 blue hydrogen and blue ammonia studies also, and we're also into hydrogen pipeline and shipping studies as well. And they range in scale from the very small, so 2 megawatt scale, up to say 10 gigawatt scale. So it's a key slide here. So this is investors need the market context for these new energy products. So at Genesis, we evaluate and compare the markets, we compare the regulations, and we give an estimate of the end-to-end production costs and the carbon footprint for some of these new products. So here we've got a slide which shows some of the renewable energy opportunities for the UK. This is from a recent study we did for a client based in the UK. So easy one for people to understand is bringing offshore wind directly into the grid. So that's just your renewable power. But with the renewables, there is a curtailment challenge to be solved. So with your curtailed electricity, can you convert it to something else like liquid organic hydrocarbon carriers, liquid organic hydrogen carriers, and ship that down to somewhere else? Another Kickstarter mechanism for the hydrogen economy of the UK is blue hydrogen. So we're producing the blue hydrogen from natural gas, and then we can sequester the CO2. And of course, these days people are talking about shipping CO2. So we're seeing that shipping CO2 is going to be an emerging market in Northern Europe. And then there'll be a lot of talk about differences in regulation, and one of them is the US regulation. So how does the UK-centric opportunities compare to, say, importing subsidized US green ammonia to produce hydrogen, or a blue ammonia project in the Middle East, and now what does that cost compare? So one of the key metrics we look at is the levelized cost of carbon abatement. So this essentially tells you what your decarbonizing value is for your investment. And the reality of today is that the carbon taxes and incentives that are kind of on the ground that consumers are paying are not enough alone to give you what we need to get these projects to pay for the products. So we kind of assess what additional subsidy you need for CCS and also for your fuel switching. So we are helping answer the difficult questions here. These are a few of our different types of clients, so governments, project developers, investors. So different types of governments. You may have a developing government where there's not an access to an established industrial market. So, you know, there's some of the questions they're asking is that we have great renewables potential, but can we get an access to a market, and can we deliver that renewable energy somewhere? For somewhere like the UK, it's what is the subsidy needed for this type of product, and how can we deliver dispatchable power, and what's the premium going to be for that and for energy storage? For developers, renewables developers might have problems with grid connections and waiting for long time for grid connections. So should we do hydrogen in region X? You know, for startups, they're asking what's the outlook for competing technologies, and then also clarity on business models is important for owners and operators. And of course, investors are trying to find which links in the value chains are the least risky and which are the most investable. And they're going to get a lot of promising options across their table, but trying to make sense of these options is something we can help with. So, you know, what's the real price to market and the carbon footprint? So, in the spirit of innovation from the innovation stage today, so we are innovating in Power-to-X and hydrogen, Power-to-X and CCUS digital tools. There's 3 tools here that are new products for 2023. We have an energy architecture optimization tool, so we can model mixed renewables and try to find an optimum price for your hydrogen production. We have a Power-to-X and CCUS value chain model, which helps us model the economic profile of an entire value chain, P2X and CCUS. And then we have Adept, which is our clean tech cost integrator. So you may have a clean tech company that knows roughly what their kind of package costs are going to be, but they don't know what the full cost of the development is going to be. And we use this tool to kind of rapidly produce cost estimates for like a whole development. So just a bit of detail on this, our Power-to-X and value chain model. So we've tried to essentially simplify and speed up our kind of end-to-end value chain modeling for hydrogen-based products. And we provide, essentially, if you've got an ambition to produce hydrogen somewhere in the world, you can put in a hydrogen flow, the country where you're operating, where you want to deliver to, and specify all your economic input parameters. And what you're going to get out of it is your levelized cost of production for hydrogen, for ammonia, for different products. And we'll give you the full kind of investment breakdown, CapEx, OpEx along the value chain. the life cycle emissions, etc. Yeah, so, okay. So just very quickly, again, just a quick summary of the actual kind of bit more detail about the pathways that we cover. So there's a lot of different carbon-based pathways that we can follow through to methanol, methane, and then to e-fuel, so things like sustainable aviation fuel. And then for transportation vectors, we cover, liquid hydrogen, ammonia, CO2 generation, and hydrogenation for liquid organic hydrogen carriers. Okay. So just quickly then, just before we wrap up, just some of the projects that we've been applying these tools on. So we've got strong experience across P2X investments. So you're seeing a little figure here about the full value chain. This is for an ammonia example, where we produce the ammonia, ship it somewhere, and then there's a market at the other end, which is the off-taker market. So we've worked on, with a leading shipping company globally, kind of an African gigawatt scale ammonia production facility. We've also done a transport and infrastructure kind of assessment, or a transportation kind of comparison for a private equity firm, different ways of transporting hydrogen, so they could see which technologies that they think are going to win the race in terms of transporting hydrogen globally. And then markets, again, so we recently for the UK, we've been for a UK storage terminal operator. We've looked at the different kind of market segments they're going to penetrate with the hydrogen. And then also kind of the full value chain perspective in terms of strategy as well for, again, the good examples in the UK recently with a terminal provider.
David, sorry, I didn't see a question. Just in case, because we will run out of time. Does anyone have a question? Otherwise, we'll let David finish, but love anybody to get involved. All right, you're okay.
Okay, 2 minutes. So I guess just to wrap up, so how is value going to be realized? So the government, we need to deliver subsidy to projects that are going to remain essential for the next 25 years and give us a stepwise infrastructure growth. For a renewables developer, you need to collaborate along the power-to-X value chain to support smaller links along there. And for clean tech startups, just focus on reducing costs to beat your opposition, but kind of understand that what your unique selling point is to justify any green premium. And then for investors, I mean, obviously here, but target markets with strong mandates, back projects where you kind of got your off-take risks covered by a subsidy. And of course, partnering with us is going to give you that value. So thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David.
Okay.